You hit the button.
Yeah, I did. In principle, we should be live.
Excellent. It's good to be back.
And you are back with a vengeance. I am so, borderline envious because, well, I am envious. I'm not gonna, envy is one of the seven sins, and as a
Yeah, but there's a difference between jealousy and envy in English, and one of them is like I want to have what you have, and the other one is like I don't want you to have what you have.
ah,
And I feel like wanting to have what someone else has, it's not so bad, but rather wanting someone to like not have anything, that's kind of bad, right?
that is definitely, that's definitely bad. And and
It's not
and
very nice.
so just to clarify, I do not wish to switch places with you, which meaning
But
that
rather
you
to
should be,
join me.
yeah, you should be in Gothenburg and I should be where you are. Rather, I would
Yeah,
rather join you. Yeah. So
yeah.
that's
Apparently, there's on Friday we're going to the fancy restaurant that's in Longyearbyen. There's a fancy restaurant that
is
has a
there a
massive
fancy
wine
restaurant?
cellar. There's a fancy restaurant. Well, I'll report back on
Oh,
how fancy it
definitely.
is, but
I'm a foodie, so definitely. But are we
yeah,
talking? Are we talking fancy, like Guide Michelin fancy, or are we talking? What are we talking about?
we well, do you want to look at its
Yeah.
website?
I'm just taking a look at your screen here, brother. Right?
It's called Huset
Of course it is.
Longyearbyen,
Yeah.
um, and it's in the old hotel. But now, see what the website is built in? React.
Wow.
Oh, look at that, huh?
Oh man.
That's a fancy website.
Oh, it's, yeah, and they have a
Yeah.
way of
Oh, yeah. Look
selling
at
their
that. I
food
mean,
with images. I think they are doing a good job there. All right, some
yeah. Let's
desserts.
see the menu.
Yeah.
Oops. About to sit the restaurant. So they have a restaurant and a bistro, but we're going to the restaurant. Uh, I think this is Guide Michelin fancy.
I think they're doing a great job there. I like the thing with the stones. Yeah, I actually used similar stuff on my restaurant back
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
days when
yeah.
I was running some.
Well, that's cool. So since 1977, but there's also a nightclub in the basement.
No shit.
Yeah, though they don't list it here. But so I'll have to report back on that as
Yeah,
well.
but okay.
This is
So
what
so
I'm
all right.
interested
So
in.
in terms of nightclubs, just how many people are we talking about?
That live in Longyearbyen,
Yeah.
3,000,
Okay.
but
All
most
right.
of them are young.
Okay. And
Yeah,
are there multiple places to go to, or?
there's like at least a couple of places that are open till 2 a.m.
Okay.
that are more like bars in the town proper. Town proper. I mean, again, this is teeny tiny, uh, but we get a lot of tourists, a lot of people coming on. There's also like a big university center here where you can study
Yeah, and
Arctic
students usually
life.
want to get shit faced.
Yeah, and they're supposed to party, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the
Is this a
part of the
uni?
point. So this is the university center in Svalbard. This building is in Longyearbyen.
Oh, wow.
Um,
That looks
it also
pretty.
houses the museum of mining and wildlife.
All right. Looks
It's
pretty
very
impressive.
nice. Yeah,
I love the
yeah. I was
fact
thinking
that
like,
you show me the you said the restaurant, you show me the uni, and there's like
yeah,
no other houses around it. It's just like, I mean, on the images, like, it's like
yeah.
the place, and then there's, I mean, are we talking long distances between all the?
No, no, we're talking 100 meters. This is just taken from a very
Okay, just take.
advantageous
Okay, I
angle.
got you. I got you. I got you. All right. All right. Do people
Um,
drive, or do they? I mean, how do they?
Skidoo, snow scooter,
No,
or you
snow
walk.
scooter. Right. Right. Right.
But you see a lot of Toyota Hiluxes, a lot of Toyotas, not very
Okay.
many American cars. They don't really cut it up here.
Okay. All right.
So you know, and you see, I mean, you see helicopters a lot, and
Okay.
that's it.
Okay. Cool.
They're in the process. If you hear any helicopters during the stream, it's because they're fortifying the avalanche protections right over the town.
Okay. All right. So you have. Okay. Well, you have.
As you do. Um, but anyway, I will report back on this. I'm very excited to
Definitely.
go. There's a gallery. There you go.
Yeah, let's see.
Um,
Oh no, this is nice. Oh, see,
yeah,
I
this
like
is
those wooden kind of traditional or old
yeah, this
Norse.
clearly like handmade. It's nice.
Yeah, I
I'm
it's just got a few ideas. I know of a place where you can buy them here in Gothenburg, and that could be
mm,
actually a nice addition to because you see I do some tapas, very
hmm
Spanish style, but
yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm designing a menu with small dishes of Swedish husmanskost, traditional Swedish food, to serve as
Nice.
tapas, and that could be very cool to serve them on dishes that resemble that has some connection to old Swedish traditions and history and so on. So and I found the utensils like forks and knives uh, in Lödöse. Lödöse is the old Gothenburg. The
hmm
first site of Gothenburg. And anyway, so they have this fantastic museum over at Lödöse, and I've been there like twice or three times. It's always empty because nobody gives a shit because people are
Yeah.
ignorant about history. Anyway, but they have this fantastic place, and they have a small shop. And in that shop, I found must be done locally, a craftsman that makes forks with only three. Vad heter
Oh yeah,
det?
the teeth you could
Yeah,
say, or
yeah,
prongs.
and they are handmade. You can see that the blacksmith has been doing them, and also knives, and that they are expensive as hell because I think they cost like 250 crowns for a set,
No
right?
problem. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so
What's that?
20 25 euros a set.
Yeah.
But if you could have that, you know to the kind of food that they are serving, like it Huset, for instance. You understand? Like in
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
utensils like that. That would be really really nice, I think. If they are comfortable to eat with, I don't know yet, but we'll see.
Hmm.
Mm.
Sorry. Anyway,
And they
this
have
all
sheep.
this to say
Or is that a sheep? No,
that's a reindeer.
that's a
I
reindeer.
won't be
Okay, they
able to
don't have
log
sheep
in.
over there.
Yeah.
No. But
It's oops. It's a reindeer that are quite common here on Svalbard. The polar bears don't eat them,
that's nice.
and you
Well,
see them
I'm gonna give
in
you a
town
mission though,
sometimes.
Max. If you talk to any
Yeah.
locals, ask them
Yeah.
about sheep. For obvious reasons, because
So
I'm interested.
yeah, I will ask. I mean, there have definitely been attempts to establish sheep here as a food source, I'm sure, because that was kind of the standard practice back
So I
then.
know that in Iceland, uh, Iceland is a very, very big sheep producer.
Yeah,
Sheep
yeah,
isn't aren't that big in Europe in terms if you compare to cattle or pigs or pork production.
yeah, yeah. But
But
after World War II, I mean, I was like,
yeah,
well, with our livestock populations disseminated, we were buying Icelandic sheep for the
yeah,
whole continent.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious about sheep, and also if there are any, I would love to know what
Yeah.
do you call it race? Do you call it racing in English? Right, race of sheep or
What?
breed of sheep
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. I think you do.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll find out. And but I'm gonna go out on a limb and don't get your hopes up too much because I would have seen them by now if
Yeah,
there's still
probably.
any
Yeah,
left.
yeah, yeah,
But if there were attempts, I'll try to find out what kind they were bringing over and why it didn't work out.
yeah, yeah. That would be interesting
Um,
because if it's
yeah,
because of the polar bears, for instance, or lack of food, because
yeah,
they do eat shitloads of food. To be honest,
right.
so
Not too much grass here or other things.
although if they can produce them
Um,
in Iceland, one would think that in a way, but I don't know. What do I know?
yeah,
Yeah.
it is a bit further south. But is that a segue into
It is.
what's our segue?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, we
perhaps
comment.
we don't always need one. Let's just let's
No, we
just
don't
keep
need
going.
one. Let's get to work.
Yeah. And so today's
So
topics are basically we're going to take another look at Vue, right?
yeah,
Because we
go
kind
to
of
it.
left some things unfinished. The last stream was a little bit of I wouldn't call
Yeah,
it
it was a bit of
a
no, it was a
disappointment.
dud. It was a
Yeah,
dud.
like anticlimax. Afterwards, I felt like, did we achieve anything?
No, we didn't
We,
really. But we learned that semantic view doesn't work with VUE3
yeah,
yet, which is too bad. And it's kind of I mean, the big takeaway there is that, like in React, you are spoiled in the ecosystem. You're spoiled. It's an embarrassment of riches, where you have so many different frameworks and styling libraries that you can that are actively maintained and just kind of work out of the box.
Yeah.
You could maybe, but this is a discussion for another day, make an argument that you should minimize your reliance on third-party packages. But now we're doing rapid application development, so we're not thinking about that. We're thinking about just development, not really maintenance and production, etc.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the big reveal yesterday was that the library we're hoping to use in Vue doesn't run with Vue3, and I have looked at Vue2, and there's no way we're going to there at all. We're using Vue3, and we're using the latest version of Vue3, and that's that.
Yeah.
Because it has this composition API that's so nice.
Yeah.
So
a question about that is because I don't know much about the Vue ecosystem, but are we like saying that the difference between Vue2 and Vue3 are so big that they're breaking changes? Like, is there a complete rewrite, or what's the deal between those?
Are there breaking changes? I don't know. I believe that there are, because in Vue2 you are relying a lot on the keyword this in classes, which you don't really need to deal with in Vue3. But the breaking changes, I don't know. I would assume yes, but I don't know.
Okay, all right, we can figure it out at some point, but because it might be interesting, but it's not that interesting. I mean, because we're new to this.
No.
So, I mean,
we are new to this, and I think we are getting excited over features that maybe are new, and that for you and I are now going to be like, well, that's really the baseline for Vue, So to like be introduced to it as in its current iteration and then go backwards is kind of that's an emotional hurdle that I'm not perhaps able to clear.
But you know how it is. Like, most probably,
Yeah.
if you are learning a new, like Vue, right? If you learn a new framework, or whatever you want to call it, if you go into a project and work on some legacy code, since from what I understand, Vue3 is fairly new, so there's a big chance or risk, whatever you, depending on how you look at it, that you will be working with an older version. That's one thing. And the second thing is that there might be also a market for rewrites, right? If enterprises are running Vue2, and they want to maintain their projects and think about maintainability and longevity and so on, then there might be some stuff that you can do and earn money. Right. So
here we go. Breaking changes between Vue2 and Vue3 are listed here. These docs are actually quite good. I didn't shout out before, but look, right away we find what we're interested in. And all right, so there are quite a few things.
Yeah.
So and they've removed some APIs. So if you removed APIs, forget it, right? Like, all right. So it's a significant difference. But that's not what we want to do.
It would be interesting to find somebody in our networks that have been working with Vue and have a chat with them.
That would be
cool. Terms of, so if there's anyone watching, listening, if you know more about Vue than us, which is probably not in terms, at least in my case, not a big stretch.
Oh no.
Then give us a shout out, and you can join us at some point. That would be very nice, actually. But okay.
Okay. The big reveal yesterday was that the styling library we wanted to use, which was this Vue, was it semantic Vue? There it is. No, that's React. Semantic UI Vue, apologies. Which looked so nice. Only works for Vue2. Okay, they're looking for maintainers, so we'll forgive them for not listing that right on top, though it would be nice to have a little note. But so, I shopped around and I kind of landed on something called Beautify Beautify JS, which is based off of material design. Um, and
Beautify.
they claim beautifully handcrafted, okay, which is beautifully handcrafted is the CSS equivalent of blazingly fast, right? In regular JS or just any code. So no design skills required. It's a big promises, right? So let me get started. And so if I click this, right, and go through this right away, we land on Vue CLI, and then we get this warning: current version of Beautify does not support VUE3. We go, Beautify V3 is coming out now. Even though it says this, you can get this running again for experiment, not production. And let's add Beautify to an application. So, if I go into our Craft Academy demos, and I'll just run an npm init view at latest, okay, and I'll call it. What should we call it? We should call it Beautify test. Okay, we don't want TypeScript, we don't want JSX, we don't want the router. I can add it later.
You don't
want
to. Sorry, I drifted off. But you don't want to viewify. I'm sorry, viewify the weather project, or is that too much?
Oh no, we'll try that. That is a much better example. It might be a bit ambitious, but I like it.
Yeah.
So before
viewers,
then I go ahead and install styling. Before I install Beautify, let's just make sure. So I'm a little nervous that when I do this and I run the Vue, because I do need to do this with the CLI, annoyingly, the Vue CLI, which isn't actively maintained. But let's just see here. I still have this tailwind config here. That's not good. Get rid of that. But in my package JSON, I have Wave UI still, because we started with Wave UI, remember?
Yeah.
And so if I'm going to get rid of this, which I'm happy to do, I need to change some of the components as well. So let's do that first. So I'm going to say yarn remove wave. And now if I run yarn, oh, it's not called wave. It's called wave-ui. Wave-ui. And so now if I run yarn dev, nothing should work because we have some custom, yeah, indeed, we get a warning here. So let's go into our main.js where we have this thing. We don't want that. And we don't want you. Save that. And now we should get a different warning. Let's go over to our browser and head over to localhost 5173. Okay, that's surprising, but we like it. Yes, okay, this is the warnings I want. There's no such thing as a W card and a W toolbar, right? So we should head over to our app component.
Just a little background story for our viewers. Yesterday, we revisited an application that Max wrote. I'm just gonna, bring people up to speed while you are doing this cleanup. So we revisited an application, one of your first applications in Vue, right?
Yeah.
I was like a tutorial kind of thingy that Max did a while back. We spoke about it yesterday, so I'm not going to be too long about that. But that involved some custom styling. We removed all that styling, and we tried to implement semantic UI. Didn't work out. We tried another library called something.
Wave UI.
Wave UI,
the one
right.
I just
Right, and that didn't kind of felt like a route we want to go down too. Right? No, that didn't felt good. So today we're gonna use Beautify with that and see where we land. Yes,
Yeah. And note that it remembered from yesterday that we have Gråbo and Långebyn
that's good.
stored in our local storage. I'm still getting some warnings that I didn't get before, and it's talking about non-emits events listeners click or pass to a component. That's the store click. Don't be automatically inherited because components are instructions or text root nodes. The listeners intended to make component because. Okay, so it's in the city card, presumably. So let's have a look at that very quickly. We define props here. So this is supposed to take props, which it does. An object, that's fine. So let's look at the city list. Did I have any custom templating here? Divs and divs. The city card gets a city object. Go to city view. It says, okay, that's fine. So do we, did I do anything to the modal? No, I did not. Let me just be absolutely sure that that's what's going on. By restarting. All right, sometimes, no. All right, this is maybe a bit out of scope. Can we still? No, we can no longer click on those things. And can we search? Ålesund, yeah, that works. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, emits. Did I remove the emits requirement? That's just so strange. No, we're just, well, that's in the base model, so maybe.
But models are no longer well.
Yeah. No, but it's so basically here, I think I'm missing a define emits from, but from where? Is it because I'm passing in? This is an interesting warning to get because here they're talking about, look, they're talking about the city cards, right? And they say, hey, if you're passing in an event listener, which I guess we are in a sense. So what we're doing, right, in the city card is that we are taking properties of an object, which is just so that we can display the actual temperature, the min and the max, right? The city and the country. But city card is rendered by city list. And in city list, we take city card and we're also passing in an event listener, this @click. And then we say go to city view. I think that's the issue here because go to city view is defined here. I mean, we're not passing this down. We're just saying, hey, if the city card is clicked, then we go to the city view. I don't know why that doesn't work anymore. That's interesting. Where is go to city view? Here. Go to city view is just a router command where you push in a new reroute and with some params and including some query params, which is very nice. But why are we getting this? Anyway, it's out of scope, but I am curious. Does it happen again when I click on this? No, I can't click on it. Did I break something in main.js when I did these imports? Create app. No, app. We mounted router. This is all fine. Did I change the router at all? I did not. Oh, maybe it's in the views. Maybe it's in the views. Here, no, there are no weirdness here. And what about the city view? I guess would be more interesting. We have a div, suspense. Okay, this is a bit above my pay grade today.
Yeah. We're in it for the
We will.
for the
Yeah, we're in
styling.
it for the styling. So clearly, the application needs a little bit of love. But if I just remove this, this is what we want to style, right? And what we want to do is add Beautify. Now, I have the Vue CLI installed, even though, as I have noted, they don't recommend using this.
Okay. And why is that? But just is it out of commission or what?
It's yeah, I think. Oh, there it was. I think. Let's see what they say. They say, "Come on." I think basically they're okay. Vue CLI. Let's go to the main page. It's in maintenance mode. I don't know what that means, but it's in maintenance mode.
All right. Okay.
But I have installed it using Yarn Global. You can always look at your global. No, yeah, you can look at your global installs with a Yarn Global list, and you can see that I have create next app, I have create React app, I have create Vite, I have CVA. I can't remember what that is, but Vue, I have Vue. So,
gotcha.
Which means
that's a good command. Good command. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to keep track of what you put on your machine because you will forget. You will forget. So let's do a view add Beautify and just see what happens. Look, all these warnings. So this command will make changes to my template files, including the components folder, view config.js. And so this is pretty risky, but we'll. I might even do a little commit before we get started. Removes wave UI. Git push origin styling demo. And let's do let's clear this and do a view add Beautify. And it's installing some packages for us. Oh no, look at this. And it could not find the Vue CLI plugin Beautify. That's interesting. Command fail, yarn add CLI, and then -- tilde as a development dependency. That's weird.
Is this node? Could this be a node version issue or?
No, if I'm using 16, it's not experimental or anything. No, I think. Oh, weird. There's a UI like this. Ugh. Yeah, maybe I spoke too soon. This is. I didn't try it on this.
No, you know what?
On this project, I built one from scratch.
Build a new one, right?
Yeah, it doesn't take any time, as you've noticed. So let's do an npm init view at latest, and we'll call it again Beautify test. No. I'm sorry, Cypress. No. and we'll just go into Beautify, and now we'll do a view add Beautify and see if we get the same error. Yeah, this is weird. I did exactly these steps yesterday, but I wonder if anyone else has had this problem. Maybe. Maybe Beautify. Oh, look, it's misspelled.
Oh.
What? This is so funny. Look, did I misspell it? You add Beautify? Yeah, and then, but it didn't. Oh, that's fascinating. Okay, so my mistake.
Oh, okay.
Beautify, but it's weird that you would get that it tries to do
Yeah.
this yarn. Okay, whatever. Let's do this. So we will try this in the other repo in a second as well. But let's just see what we get here. So here you get, this is what I wanted to show you. You do get a little wizard. Beautify 2, but of course we want 3, and we want the Vue CLI, I guess. So do we want the V? Let's try this one, even though it's in preview. And it's giving us the additional dependencies that it needs, which apparently is a whole bunch of stuff. All right. That was successful.
Let's try it on the other one.
So we've yeah, let's do the same here. Note that it's scaffolded a home view component. That'll be interesting. This is our styling demo. Why do you have? Oh, I did install it in the weather tutorial. Gosh, I'm not on my A game today. So actually, we were in the right repo.
Well, anyway.
Holy
it is
cow!
What it is.
Okay, that is what it is. The point is, we have now a Hello World component that we didn't before, and we have a folder called plugins where there's a Beautify Js. So check this out. In the plugin, there's also a web font loader that we get for free, apparently, that loads in Roboto, but from the, this await import. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But this is the meat, right? So it imports some material design icons. It imports Beautify styles. Then it imports from Beautify this create Beautify object, which is a function, and then it exports it as create Beautify. Okay. Then in our main JS, it has imported this Beautify from the plugins, also the load fonts, but that's a separate thing. It does run load fonts, and then this is kind of nice. It changed the whole thing for us. Create app, use router, use Beautify, and mount app. Okay. So the $1 million question is, if I now start up a server, first of all, does it compile? It looks like it compiled. And it doesn't show us anything. And we're getting some reference errors. Required is not defined. Require is not defined. That's interesting. So let's look for require in our code, and we see that this hello world component has a require statement inside the template, but in the double quotes. So, and you see this is a V on shortcut. But if we look at, let me close this template, and if we look at this export default, we see, oh, hello. This way of defining data is the old way. Using an export default, and then this would be the data function, right?
Hmm.
Um, this isn't how things are done anymore. This shouldn't be breaking. The only thing I think that's making it break is the fact that we have a require here. I don't think we need a require in the source anymore. So I'm just gonna experiment a bit. And what happens now? Oh, look at that. Um, for
Hmm.
some reason it
There you
rendered
go.
twice. So what it's done, and I don't love that when you add this, it kind of rips your app out and puts in their welcome page.
Hmm.
I would be, if I was working on a project and I was like, it's time to add some styling library, and it did this to me, I would be very nervous.
Yeah.
Um, but that's just me, maybe. I don't know.
No, no, I'm
Let's
with you
find.
on this one. I mean,
Yeah,
totally.
you with
Yeah.
me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not just me. So how did it rip it out, right? It went into, oh,
Jeez.
this is why we're getting those warnings. This is what I forgot to take out. Oh, now it's hard to tell. Did they do this? Yeah, this was just rendered from Beautify. So
Oh.
Beautify also uses this kind of v app, v main, and then router dash view uh, method of
Yeah.
dealing with its components. So let's look at the component they gave us. Well, they said they also edited the home view. Yeah, look, the home view has been edited. Oh, they overwrote my home view? That's kind of rude.
Yeah.
That's really rude.
Yeah. I'm not
Uh,
so super duper impressed. You know.
no, not really. No, I mean, and look also, I mean, look at what they're overriding with. This is, first of all, they shouldn't do that. That's not a great developer experience. But
No.
this is also the old way. And the old way used to be that if you wanted to access a component inside your template, you had to import it like this, but you also had to define components with an export default. You see how much more code you would need,
Yeah.
and this is now superfluous. You don't need it. But
Hmm. All right. There must
anyway,
be some.
the point is, it is running.
Yeah.
The bigger point is, I would not advise anyone to use this.
Mm. Mm.
But they will release, they're all talking about a release for Beautify V3, and maybe they will have a better target release is soon, trademark. But maybe so what we just did is a live beta, right?
Mm.
Which came with a breaking thing, which is that require function in
Mm-hmm.
its scaffolded code. So hopefully, when the actual version comes out, the installation process will be a bit different, and maybe they'll even move away from the Vue CLI. That would be my hope.
Yeah.
Uh, though apparently there are some presets you can pass in. Oh, but this is getting in the weeds for something that is meant to speed up the process. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's you know what's kind of cool is that you can do these wireframes. Look, like they have this wireframe which you know
Mm-hmm.
is just very bare bones, but kind of the functionality that you'll be looking for. So even
Yeah.
an inbox wireframe, I love it. Um, right. Um,
Yeah.
if you want to, yeah. So I think the Beautify product is great, and it's just that was a bit jarring for me, but it's supported by all these people, and it is actively being worked on. So um, you know, we revisit this in 6 months. I'm sure it'll be a very different experience. But
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
All right. Well, that's kind of
yeah,
end of the road for us with this now, right? Isn't it?
yeah. It is. It is. I think the good is that we've gotten good at figuring out how to spin up things and finding errors when they occur. The down is that the ecosystem is just different in Vue than in React. React is run by a massive company, and you have a lot of products around that naturally. And like Semantic React, like Material UI, like all these other things. And I think in Vue, you're probably better off spending the time, you're going to hate me, but learning something like Tailwind or just Sass and slugging through
I'm leaning toward that as well,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's so many classes. I don't know why. Why would they have so many? Yeah, but,
He's a classy guy,
yeah. But it's like it's like you have to learn those classes as a completely new kind of language almost. Do you understand? Because
Yeah.
I've seen Tailwind projects with HTML attributes with like 10 or 15 classes on them in order to make
Yeah.
it look okay, and it's just so overwhelming. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Especially in something like Vue where I mean, I guess you get that in the JSX as well, but it's
Yeah, but still,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
don't know.
I think that I'm gonna hijack the screen for a while.
Yeah,
We're gonna
please
move to the
do.
second part of our stream, or the
Mm-hmm.
topic for our stream today, which is having a go at one a legacy project that I've been working on for
Mm-hmm.
a while back actually. So it's legacy. I just yeah. Let me just go over to the repository. First of all, it's still stored at an organization called Adaptive Technologies, which was a company that I was involved with for a short while in 2021. This
Mm-hmm.
project has been worked on in 2020, so it is 2 years ago. It's a Rails project, and an RSpec will actually change it. I just changed it to Nomad of Code because I do have access to this. This is my organization, but anyway, might be a bit confusing. So we have an API written in Rails, and we have a client written in React, and we also have a small private thing written in HTML actually. Or no, well, no, that was actually also a React project. So why do we have two of them, Pranzo and Pranzo client? I don't know why we have two of them. Then we have the vouchers client. That's the HTML code, right? With some Stripe elements. That doesn't matter. So what is Pranzo? Well, Pranzo is supposed to be a platform for restaurant owners to tap into and offer prepaid lunch vouchers to the general public. So what we aim to do here is to simplify the management of vouchers, basically, and also build customer loyalty. In Sweden, very often you have a situation where you can pay a restaurant, and I have actually an example of this. If you see this, so this is a lunch card. It's been in my wallet, so it's a little faded. And what happens is that I give them 1,000 crowns, which is approximately 100 euros, and then they kind of check off every time I eat at that place. Do you understand?
Nice. Yeah.
By hand. So this is like a 18th century kind of way of doing things. And so instead of doing this manually, we could do this. We can automate that process. So this is
Hmm.
the idea, and we. I mean, this is simply just a mock-up. Uh, we can have lunch with bonuses, and we're telling the general public. This is the public-facing part of the client, buy prepaid lunch vouchers
Hmm.
at selected restaurants in Gothenburg and Sweden. Uh, so basically, you choose a restaurant, you purchase your voucher online, and you collect some bonuses and so on. Right. Let's see. Can I? Is there any functionality on this? No. 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 No functionality for restaurants. Right. So and the cards they look something like this. This is a mock-up too, right? So basically,
Hmm.
what you have is that you you purchase a card and we can customize, we can add the logo of the restaurant, and and in this particular case, what you see on screen is a lunch card with 15 lunches prepaid, right? And it of course has a price, and we are generating a code, and we have a QR code on this one, and we're just telling that please present this card when placing an order, activated in December 2020, valid until fully consumed. And you can also check the validity of this card on online, right? Which
Hmm.
was one of the clients. Let me see if we can open this up. So if I go to bit.ly Pranzo card, let's see if this still works. Uh, right. Um, right. I actually have one of those cards here.
Oh,
Let's see
cool.
if. Uh, so this is. I don't know if this is gonna work. So you can get a physical card as well, right? Um,
Oh.
so let's see if I can punch in this number. So the voucher code in this particular case is IZ capital B G capital W. And let's see if we can search for this. And there's a Heroku application in the background. So
Hmm.
this might need some time to wake up. And we got an
Mm.
object. Thank you very much, which is apparently.
Thank you.
But what we can see in the network, again, this is just a
Yeah.
mock-up. So let's see if we can. Let's right. So what
Okay.
does this do? And we got the response, and we got a response saying that this code is invalid, right? So that's why we got
Mm.
this weird error. So
Yeah.
apparently that code wasn't the appropriate one. Let's see if I have another one. Perhaps this one is valid. No, it's not. That's the same one. Hubba hubba. So I won't be able to check that. Well, actually, I will be able to check that. Let's see. So if I go to Heroku.com, so the API is deployed on Heroku. Let's
Hmm.
log in, and we just go, oh, right. So Bocado server. It's so the naming is a little bit off here because we changed some stuff in the.
Right. All
Yeah,
right.
but anyway, so we just do Rails console here. Uh, I should probably add this to my terminal so I can run this from terminal because you have better visibility. But anyway, so let's see. So voucher is voucher. Right. So voucher dot all. Well, no. Let's connect it with connection first. Right. Clear. No, I can't clear here. Shit. I
Oh
hate
yeah.
this interface.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal. Let me just do this instead. Let me. Yeah, it's better if. No, that's not it. Where am I? We are here. No, here, here. No, where am I? There it is. Numbers of code, Pranzo API. Right. So let's go over. I have this forked. Uh, so let's go over to Pranzo API. it's actually better if I clone this down.
Mhm.
There we go. Let's just do terminal. And we head over here and we do git clone this, and we cd into this Pranzo. I don't have to. Oh, really? So I already had Pranzo. Okay, so that's the master branch. That's okay. And then I will do git remote.
Oh, Giot.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good.
-v. Right, so I have the origin. So let's just go over to settings on Heroku, and I'm just gonna grab this URL, and I will just do git remote add Heroku this, and then we just do Heroku Rails. No, is it Heroku Run Rails console? Yeah, Heroku
I think
Run
it's Heroku
Rails
Run. Yeah.
console.
You may need to run Heroku login first.
No, I'm
no. Oh yeah. Yeah. Apologies.
Right, so we should be able to get a better overview of things here. Right,
Yeah,
so if I do voucher connection, right, and then we say voucher all, no, just voucher. I want to see what attributes we have: ID, value, integer, active, created, updated code, right. So we say voucher dot where active is true, and then we just pluck the code.
The code, yeah.
Voucher where active is true. I think this is right. It's been a while. Right, this is the one. Right. So we only have one. Right. So I'm just gonna say dot last, not first. Sorry, first, and then I'm just gonna say active. I'm gonna store it. There we go. And then I'm just gonna change this code because I don't need this louder, because I was running some experiments. It's coming back to me slowly. It's been a while. So I'm just gonna say active update update, and we just say, I think we say what is it, code this, can we say this, update attribute, oh no, sorry, oh, the active isn't, okay, sorry, now I don't have to flag the code, of course. Right, so now I just want to say that first, right, sorry, first, I took the wrong thing, and now I just want to, can I update? Oh, no, okay, so active update code false. Why don't you want to update this? Active dot code equals this, and then active dot save, and it's false. And if I run a bang on it, validation variant can't be blank. Okay, issuer must exist. Okay, I got you. So I'm sorry about
no, it's interesting. It's really interesting.
It's been a while. So variant, why don't we say, so we say active variant is nothing and can't be blank. So what is variance? So don't remember.
Yeah,
don't remember. But that's not a big problem because I can check it out. So we go to models and we go to voucher
Yeah.
and we go and see has one. So variant cache
As
servings,
an
right? So
enum. Oh,
right.
okay.
So it's gonna be servings, right? So we're gonna say uh, variant equals 1. No, is that an enum?
It
Yeah,
is
it's
an
enum,
enum,
right? So
but
we're just gonna
an
say
enum of
servings this in with a bang. Issuer must exist. So okay, so it can't store
okay.
this, but that's all right. So can we say issuer all? Do we have any issuers? Issuers? No. Okay. So what the hell is an issuer? An issuer is a vendor. Okay. So we need to
Belongs
check for
to,
vendor. Vendor dot
yeah.
all, and we have a vendor, Craft Academy, and we have a yada yada, and with other place. All right. So we have plenty of okay. So I can work with this. So we can just say. Right, so we will say active, that's the voucher, and we will say update, and we will say um, variant will be 1, and issuer will be vendor find, and we will find, uh, for instance, 6, right? So we're going to say that this is
Hmm?
the other place. There's a story about the other place, actually, I'm going to tell you later. Active variant. Right. So boom, association type mismatch. Expected got vendor ID 6. What are you shitting me? Vendor find. Okay. So all right. So let's just copy this, and we say vendor equals vendor find 6. This should work. This is Rails. Right.
Yeah.
Oh no 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 no. Okay, I got you. I got you. I got you. So I'm just storing the ID and not the entire object, which is a bit
Ah,
weird in this case. That should I mean Railsy way should be that I can just point. I thought that active record would be smart enough. No no. So that's not it. So what sort of why am I
is there a difference between issuer and vendor? Like,
user is expected? Why would
yeah.
user? Why would
Well, because it looked like in the class, issuer has a class named user on line 12.
has one? Oh okay. Oh, right. User dot lad. Let's just take a look at the last user.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, and then through issuer. So does this is yeah the but this user is not user dot all yeah you just uh you should provide an email user role employee vendor ID. Okay, so I have to pick one that doesn't have a admin. Here it is. We have an admin, but he still has an vendor ID nil. Well, let's see. User where vendor where not. Is this where not? Fuck. Vendor ID nil. Can I do this? Where no. Where dot not. How do you negate where?
Uh,
Oh, there it is. Oh, there are no
okay.
no vendors. So okay, so um, user admins, okay, admin. So we have this one. We have Thomas Bocado as well. Right. So vendor ID. Okay. So let's just update this one to from vendor to vendor find 6, because otherwise I will get an error if this user doesn't have
Yeah, I understand.
user admin dot first, right? Because this is first. So we want to grab the first one. We have 2 dots. Right. So now we are okay. So I'm just gonna say Thomas equals user admin. I'm just gonna store this one in. Right. So here we have Thomas is there, and we have an active voucher. Right. And so now I want to update issuer is Thomas. Right. No. Well, was that the issuer? Yeah, the issuer was Thomas. Right. And we got a true on this one. Awesome.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Nice.
So now we can
Very
go
nice.
in and update this this code. And this is true now. Okay, good. So now,
very nice.
so,
Yeah.
gotta love. When you do something that you know
Yeah.
how to do, it's kind of refreshing. You can
It's
probably
nice.
sense that I'm a little bit more energized at this point.
Yeah. Sorry for all the yawning. I haven't
No.
made my coffee yet.
So anyway, so we checked for an invalid voucher, which is apparently not correctly programmed, because it shouldn't return object, right? It should actually return the message.
React
But if we
that
check for this
404.
one, yeah, if we check for this one, what are you?
You also got a 404. Is it still deploying?
Yeah. What? So let's quit this and let's do Heroku Logs -t. Right. And what is this guy saying? Okay, so if I check for this again.
Oh, it's Lura instead of Laura.
Yeah, but this shouldn't. Okay, so here's doing something here. Code, limit 1. But he doesn't return anything. What the hell is this? He's not.
Oh.
Right. Okay. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Because it's apparently getting something back. Do you understand, right? And the voucher code is invalid. Try again, but it is not invalid. It's definitely valid because I changed it to it, right? So
yeah.
Null with hash. No. Right. Vouchers code and limit. Right. So then parameters ID. Right. Vouchers controllers show as. But anyway, we shouldn't. Anyway, I'm sorry, but you get the drift at least.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
So you know what? Let's just bundle this up, okay? So we can see if we can run some tests instead for doing some manual testing, okay?
Yeah.
And if I open this up in code, we can see that we have. I can just talk you through this code. This is a Rails application, right? So there's nothing super advanced here. We're using Ruby 2.6.3, which needs to be updated probably. We are also using Rails 6, which should be pretty straightforward to update to Rails 7. But these are the last famous words of a developer, right?
Yeah.
This is legacy, right? Because what
Yeah.
we also did here is that we tapped into an online service that is called ResOS, that
Yeah.
allows us to do reservations and stuff.
Oh,
But
okay.
now we're only talking about the vouchers, right? There is more functionality in this API than meets the eye. So you can do
Hmm.
reservations on tables. You can also do you can also do um, timesheets, right? So people can report their time when they start and take off from
Okay.
work and so on. But this is not what we are here for at this point. But so we have a therefore we have a few um, few models here that are not really in play at this point. So we have
Hmm.
vouchers, vendors, we already talked about it, users. We have transactions, that's when you purchase. Well, when you actually use a voucher, then we
Hmm.
record a transaction. We have an owner of the voucher, and we have some other stuff, basically, right? But in terms of specs, uh, we can do request specs. And so let's have a look at the request specs. Right. User can retrieve a voucher is
Hmm.
interesting, but a vendor can be created, vendor can be viewed. Okay, I have to get products index. Uh, user can authenticate purchase. Yeah, user can purchase a voucher and user can retrieve a voucher. These are interesting
Yeah.
in this case. So let's see if we can run them. Right. So user can right. So let's just run them.
Yeah.
Right.
Go for it.
Yeah. So our spec user can
Is it requests?
request specs and user
Yeah.
can purchase voucher spec. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
I need to migrate, of course. I don't migrate. I didn't migrate.
Ah, yes.
But right. Uh, right. And oh, shoots.
You
Right.
don't have your environment variables, is that right?
Right.
But
Can we fix this? We can fix this. We can fix this pretty fast, I think. Let's just cd and ls, and then there's a Bocado API, right? So ls cd Bocado. So this is the old implementation of this, but I should have the credentials here.
yeah.
So let me just code this. Let's open this up in code,
Mhm.
and we should see. Right. So let's close all of this. Let's close all of this, and we go to
Config.
config. Right, config,
Yeah.
and there is a master key here.
Yeah. And there's a credential YAML. So
Right. And I'm
you
gonna
grab
take
both.
this off. I'm gonna take this off screen. No, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, you know. So I'm just gonna
Yeah.
copy this
Okay.
master key, and I'm gonna because I mean it's not production in any way, shape, and form. So
Right.
so we're just gonna go over to config, please. There you are. And there is no master key. I'm just gonna create a master key. You can generate it, but you can also create it like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna add this master key here,
Mm-hmm.
and I should be okay. So I'm gonna switch over to this one, and I'm just gonna do raise db migrate just for because this will fail if I don't have the
Right.
key anyway. So
The right key. Yeah.
right, so this worked. So let's just do the same rspec-ish thing, and we're up and
That looks
running. So we
promising.
fixed it.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, That's so
We're going
nice.
green. Right. Right. So what do we have here? This is why specs are good for, well written. Oh, come on. I'm trying to make this bigger. Can you make this bigger? There it is. Right. So we're making a post request to the API vouchers purchases. So there's a controller
Mm-hmm.
to deal with, and we have two variants. We have the one variant with servings, and then we have another
Mm-hmm.
variant with cash value. You understand? So you can either prepay for 10, 15 meals or something like that. I think we hard coded this to 10 or 15, but I assume that later on a restaurant can decide it on their own.
You would open that up, yeah.
And then if you try to pass in an invalid value that is not 10 or 15, you should get a 422 and an error message with email param that is present. Oh yeah, that is present in the database, which is the owner. See, because I was thinking about this, so I don't want to force people who buy vouchers to register with our system.
Yeah.
So if they pass in an email, but they have to pass in an email address because we want to send off a receipt and all of that stuff, right? If they are registered, then that voucher is attributed to a registered user. But if the email is not a registered email, the purchase will still work, but we will not attach it or associate it with an already registered user. So you can in principle purchase them anonymously with our, not fully anonymous because you have to send off an email, right? And we are doing servings here, and this will, so if this is present in the database, that's okay, and if it's not, then it's still okay. We get a 201 created. Without a valid vendor name, we get a 422. I'm not really sure why I did that, right? But anyway, yeah. And then we have the cash value, right? So it's basically a repetition, and we have 100, 250, and 500 units, which is like Swedish crowns in this case, because you probably won't buy 1,000 worth of 100 euros worth of lunches, but I don't know. But also in Sweden, buying 100 prepaid 100 is too low, because a lunch costs 130, 140 anyway. So perhaps this is euros. I don't know. And then if there is no variant, you shouldn't be able to do this, right? So let's see if we can retrieve using an authenticate, can retrieve voucher, right? So let's have a look at that. And so that is the API voucher and the code. This is what we try to do with this little client of with a valid code for non-registered user. We get a 200 and we have the code and all of that stuff. And if it's a registered owner, we also get a 200 response basically. And if you get if you pass in an invalid code, you get why would this be a 200?
And why would it return voucher details? Something is
right. This is not good. This is not right.
Something is wrong there.
Yeah. So let's close this. Let's go over here and go in. Yeah, that's not correct. Close config.
Close
down to spec, go to requests, and you go to user can retrieve. There it is. So we are down here.
To do. There we go. Line 80.
Right. Well.
That's a good question.
No, this is not. Look, this is not a bad thing. I would back down from this to do, because you still return a 200. You understand?
Yeah, but the name of the test on line 83
return error message.
Yeah.
This is definitely right. See, I'm not 100%. Yeah. Well, let's have a look at that controller. Let's have a look at. See if we can actually change. So I wonder if it's a good HTTP standard to return a message with a 404. The error code 404 shouldn't return a response in, or should it? I don't know.
I no, it can, right? The only
I don't
one
know.
that doesn't return a response is 204 or
Or should 404 resource
yeah,
include
right.
body? Right, there's the good. So I wanted to know what fellow developers follow when designing API for error responses. Not found get resource. You can send some sort of body indicating that the resource was not found. Right. Uh, yeah, something like this, right? I don't know if you see this. Accept cookies. So
Yeah.
it's a 404, but the details consumer not found, for instance. I don't think it adds any value, but in our case, it does add value, right?
Yeah.
For all the not found get
Well,
you should also send some sort of body indicator there is no not found or some. Oh, yeah. The first thing to is can the attacker use this info for anything, including crafting better attacks in the future? Yeah. Yeah. Fail to right. Status code indicates that the client seems to have error except when responding to hand. Should send a representation containing explanation of the error situation. Right. Therefore, the body should in made a. Oh, okay. Right. So I could. Yeah. So
yeah, I
apparently.
think you're in the clear. And
Yeah. Yeah. All
you're
right.
not you're not dynamically rendering anything in that response. It's just code
Right.
invalid. I mean, that's
Rend. Right. So the show action is here, and we have. Do we have anything on like a before action on show? Right there. Find voucher only if this show an update. Right. So before action, find voucher. Right. So basically, but where's this? There it is. Voucher not found. Where is that? Oh, rescue from active record, record not found. Okay, so here it is. So we are rescuing from this.
yeah.
Right. And voucher not found.
There it is.
So we just say 404 here. Do you understand? Yeah.
You were getting a 404 when we were manually testing this a second ago.
I was not. Was I?
You sure?
I'm not
No.
100% sure.
Like,
So
look, there's a fail. Look, the 404 down there. Responded with a status, like at the bottom of your
no, status
console.
code 200.
Oh, that's a different
Yeah.
404. Okay.
Yeah. So
That's a
this was
different
a
404.
200.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I should go to with a 404, which means that if I run this spec again, this will fail, and I need to change this to 404. Right. So
Yeah.
now in this one, we just go 404.
Hmm.
It's probably better. It's probably for the better. So
Yeah.
let's see if I can just run all our spec on this, just to see what's up. What do you think so far, brother?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Issuer variant needs I don't know. Variant is like you pay per the meal or you're just adding money to the card. Is that correct?
Yeah, either one of these.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. So that makes sense. And I'm a little curious about the structure for users. So like you had, you have vendors, you have
Let's have a look at the
customers, I
user
assume.
model. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I can't remember. So
Yeah.
let's go to app models, and then we go to user. Right.
Yeah.
That's a pretty. Yeah, you have a consumer, you have employee,
Uh-huh.
you have an
Uh-huh.
admin, and you have a system user. Right. Right. And this belongs to vendor optional true. Uh, so you don't have to belong to a vendor, right? And you have many vouchers. So we should probably have some restrictions, at least on this belongs to, saying that if you're a
Mm-hmm.
consumer, you cannot. So we can add a lambda here, saying that you need to be an employee, probably, or an admin, just that,
Yeah.
or
Okay.
something like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has many orders, timesheets for employee. That should also be restricted to only deal with employees. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I assume that employees can buy vouchers, so perhaps we shouldn't have any restrictions on that. No, no, this is what you issue. So that's it's a bit tricky. So you probably need to work on that a little bit. But a vendor has many users.
I see. So a vendor is like
Like a restaurant,
a restaurant. Yeah.
or that's why I didn't want to call it restaurant. I call it vendor because I didn't want
No,
to.
no, no. I think vendor is correct. I just needed to grasp the concept.
Right. And also, so
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
a create system user after create when you create a vendor, and what. Right. Primary email. Okay, so you have a primary email on the vendor, so you like an info at
Yeah, yeah,
and then you just
yeah.
call it
Generic.
system user. So I would probably, you know what, I will not do it now, but I will do something like system user for, and then string interpolate
Yeah,
the name, you know, do you understand? Like the
yes.
name of or even just the name of the restaurant,
Yeah.
like snake case it or whatever, or no, no. But I will not do it now. That's I can just add a content to do. Should this name include vendor name? Right, something like that. And I just reassign this. You just create the you assign this vendor to self. Validate false. Why do we validate false on this one? It was 20 months ago. Don't remember. Apparently, I didn't want to validate.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
After
I don't know.
create, after yeah. No, and neither do I. To be honest. But the
Yeah.
interesting thing here. Well, let's see. Oh, param is missing. We have a failing spec. Why do we have failing
Mm-hmm.
spec? Vendor can be viewed. Vendor can be viewed. Parameter user. So we're just gonna open this up and take a look at line 11. Vendor name, the restaurant.
The rest are not.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
Right. But why would
What
this? Right.
you do a GET request with a vendor ID. I mean, do you need to pass in
It's something wrong
some
with
kind of
that.
credentials?
No. Vendors controller line 35. So let's have a look at the vendors controller line 50, 35. 35. Params require User params. Why would I need to require user params here? Vendor params. Before action, user params present, user params present, and remember to create a user account for yourself. But I did. Okay, so it's a factory issue, I guess. Let's have a look at the factory, the vendor factory. Right after vendor logotype. Right, but this. Uh, you see, because we do have this after action, right, on the vendor. So we should create this system user. So if I said binding pry here, and I run this spec, one would think that after action should kick in, right? And it does. Okay, so that's not it. Well, okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna execute this code in here just to make sure that it actually creating it. So system user is this, right? So that worked, right? Yeah, unique violation because I created it manually. So this is working. So we need to go to the controller and we need to vendor find params ID vendor JSON. So we have a before action, user params present, user params present, user params message, user params present. There's something wrong with this one. So I'm just going to set a binding right here. I'm going to execute this again. Right. User params. So user params. Param is missing. Or the user. User param. Why am I doing this? I don't remember this. Shit, I don't. Because so there's something wrong with the spec then. Vendor can be viewed. Vendor ID. Why would I? Do I have to? So perhaps it is like you say that I need to, but no. Let's get rid of this before action for a second. Why would I don't really recall why I would do such a thing. Yeah, so this passes. But why would I, if I want to just look at the vendor, why do I need why would I need a user parameter?
So, well, maybe that before action is meant for the other actions in that controller.
Yeah.
You know?
Right, so I misspelled the restaurant. Yeah, I misspelled it on 2 places at least. So
yeah, consistency is a virtue.
Right. So now they are passing. Okay, so these two will pass now. So which means that I will run the whole thing again, and we're gonna wait for a second, and we can chit chat about other things, because now either the entire suit passes or something else fails. Because I can't really see why I would have, added that.
Yeah, I mean, it could have had an only statement earlier or something, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I made sardine pasta last night. It was great.
It was.
It was actually. It came out great. It was like red chili pepper flakes, lots of capers, a lot of bit of diced minced shallot. and so that all kind of got to sputter, cook together, and then I used spaghettinis,
Oh,
full corn, which apparently is good for your brain. So claims my better
I don't.
half.
You know, I'm gonna stop you there. I
Yeah.
I divorced my first wife, and full corn pasta was one of the things that. So she kept buying this full corn pasta,
It doesn't. Yeah,
and
it's a problem.
I don't know, I don't like it. You know, for
Mm,
me, pasta should be pasta.
yeah, for me too.
Yeah,
There
I'm
are
not saying that I
fish.
divorced her solely for that, but it was
No, no,
it was a factor.
I can imagine.
You know.
Yeah. Uh, but I put a lot of lemon in as well, and lemon juice, and I zested the lemon um, before frying everything. So I fried the shallot, etc. And
Gotcha.
oh, you
Yeah,
got
now I
some
got some other errors, right?
yeah,
In the vendor
vendor
can be
can be
created,
created.
which is interesting.
Well, okay, so does a vendor requires a user, basically.
Yeah,
That's what the takeaway
so that's
here
why
is. And that
we
makes
can't. Yeah,
sense, right?
yeah.
That makes sense for an API.
But yes, 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 yes. But if I open this up again and I
Uh-huh.
run this one,
Uh-huh.
now it passes. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I say then only, and then I can pass in this, and I say create, right? And I format my code, and nothing happens. So yeah, anyway, and then I run it again. Okay, so this passes, and the
Yeah.
previous one that
All
wasn't
right.
passing before, that was the value can be viewed, right? So I do
Yeah.
this, and now this one's passing. So okay, so only by restricting this, I made some progress. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, so let's uh, let's see. We're just gonna run everything in vendor, or was that in vendor? Yeah, that was in vendor. Yeah, okay. So let's run everything, so I don't have to run the whole enchilada, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, we get a geocoding API error. Yeah, doesn't matter. Okay, so that worked. Okay, I need to
Yeah.
run the whole thing. I can't, unfortunately. So I think we solved the
That's okay.
issue.
Um,
Man, but you gotta give it this. It's beautiful that you can open up an application after 2 years, and
yeah,
you can get into it just because you actually have tests. You know?
that is so true. That is so true. I mean, no, testing is the way to go. You save yourself a lot of headache
Yeah. And we
in
did
every
start out
stage.
we started to walk down the wrong path here with this manual testing with the server and everything, just because I wanted to show you
Yeah.
the functionality. But to be honest, this is the shit, right? Uh,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
let's see. I think it can actually go green for us. And so there are two things that are interesting. Then I will we can chat if this is something that is worth working on or not. But we should be green on this one. So I have another branch. We can do this at the same time. Pranzo API. Right, so I need to add this as an upstream. Yeah, so we go green on all this stuff, right? So this is awesome. Git status, right? Git ci refreshes some specs and limits before action in voucher. No, vendor.
That vendor,
Yeah,
yeah,
vendor.
their controllers.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. and then git remote add upstream git fetch upstream, and we have right shit. Okay, hubba. It's a solo project, man, so I wasn't really.
No, that's fine.
And we have attribute translation from attribute translations. Okay, so git checkout dash t upstream attribute translations. Right. So let's bundle. Right. So in Rails, all the attributes that I'm giving my models are, of course, in English: name, description, and all of that stuff. Now, sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you want to actually translate those attribute names to namn or beskrivning or name in, I don't know, whatever fucking language that is. However, so your API responds in your localized language because those keys can be used on the front end. Usually they are not, but sometimes they can be, actually, right? Especially if you do search functionality, So I actually implemented this in this branch. So I18N in Rails is pretty easy, but translating attribute names is not that super easy. But there are mechanisms to do that. I don't know if I ever showed you Globalize before, but it's definitely interesting. So let's see if I need to probably right. So I will. Yeah, I probably need to push up the master. So let me just let the git check out master, and you local check right. Git status. Why is gemfile log? Okay, git ci and updates gemfile log. Should be okay. Anyway, master, and I will just push this directly to upstream. Git push upstream master. I have access rights to that, right? And now I will just do right. I just could have written this right, and now I will just do git pull upstream master. Right, pulling without. Right, and that's okay. And I will just close this message, and we should be good. Right, so if I bundle again, we're okay. And if I do rspec now, either the shit hits the fan or not. No, I have to migrate. I have to migrate. Right, Rails DB, but it might have. Because why? What error message? Syntax error. End of X. Oh, we have an end of on the schema. What, are you shitting me? Okay. Well, that's not a big problem, but nonetheless, it is a problem. So we go to DB and we just remove the schema. Right, we can delete it. Go to trash, and we're just gonna do migrate. Right, and now if I do rspec, did I write any specs on it? Unexpected end of unexpected end. Right, so we go to this one, can report, so that obviously there was a problem. Right, there's an end. What is it? Syntax error. Online what? But there's an end. And here, so, oh, here it is. You see this? There it is. There's an end. Right. Damn, I have an eye for this, man.
Wow, yeah. Impressive.
Yeah, I'm actually impressed by myself here.
Right. Hey, look at that.
let's see. But while this is running, oh, so there's some design issues here, right? Yeah, and those vouchers, think of in English or in Swedish, also.
Gotcha.
Um, and I think they are stored somewhere on storage, on temp, cache, no, storage, no. Yeah, let's have a look at this. What is this? Oh, that's okay. That's no, that's no, never mind. I'm gonna show you this later anyway. How are we doing? Transactions. This is working phenomenally. How do you say phenomenally?
Phenomenally. Don't curse it though.
Once again?
Don't curse it though by
No, I know.
expecting a certain outcome.
Right. So we added globalize. There's a Stripe Ruby mock. Right. So what is this? Current category control products controller. Yeah, there was a lot of messing around with the serializers in this project. I remember this. That's not what I need to translate promo. Yeah, and this translate subtitle product on this. Yeah, why did I do that? I don't know. Shit, I don't recall this. But so a product name, I think it makes sense. Like a product can have you know, instead of be called subtitle, it could be called something. Oh no, it's not. It's no, it's not the keys. Okay, no, shit. I explained it totally wrong. So here's the deal: a pizza, right? Let's say a pizza. It could be carbonara, a fantastic pizza with our yada yada mozzarella cheese and so on in English. But if there's a Swedish customer, then it needs to say that en fantastisk pizza med mozzarella ost, right? So and you don't want to create two pizzas, one for the English customers and one for the Swedish customers in your database. You still want to reference only one instance of product, right? But you want to show different content to different users. So with globalize, you do not, of course, I explained it totally wrong. Of course, you do not translate the keys, but you have two sets of descriptions. So you have an English description and a Swedish description. And depending on what the user wants to see, where he comes from, what language setting he has, your API will serve either the English or the Swedish version. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Right. So we have probably no, actually in this case I actually return them. Okay, so I return both the Swedish and the English translation in the API response. That's what this does. But right, so let's have a look at that here. So we have first of all, what did this work? Yeah, this worked. Okay, so let's go to spec requests and we go get products index endpoint, and I will just set a binding pry here, and I will say rspec get a request specs get products index line 20. That's the only one I want to run. Right, so if we do response, right, okay, response JSON. Right, so if you look at this now, we have some variant, and then we have a promo in English. So here we only have a promo in English for some reason, but on this one, big juice bar subtitle in English is something like this, but
Yeah.
then you have a Swedish,
Hmm.
they should say Svensk subtitle. Right. So
Hmm.
now we have two versions. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Of this one, and then on the client side, in this particular case, you can choose: do I want to show him the Swedish or
Yeah.
the English version, basically. You understand?
Yeah.
And the reason why we have this badly spelled Swedish thing
Hmm.
is because, right, here you go. Svensk promotext, svensk subtitle. Do you see this?
Yeah.
So do we update the first, but do we have svensk promotext somewhere? Category 1, promo, orange. Is this even visible anywhere? No, I can't really see it. But anyway,
Hmm.
so now, yeah. So expect response JSON tapas items, because we are hard coding some stuff here. I built this bot when I was running Bocado, so it was built for Bocado,
Yeah. Yeah.
and now we have these keys, English and Swedish, on the subtitle, you know.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
That's great.
yeah. So that is what Globalize does for us. We can add translation. So, and the reason, now imagine when you guys were building the newsroom challenge, do you remember
Hmm.
you could have an article,
Yeah.
a news article, and you could have a Swedish title or an English title. You can have a
Yeah.
Swedish content and English content, and you can
Hmm.
still have analytics and say, oh well, about Biden doing this, we accessed this article 1,000 times. 400 of
Yeah.
them were Swedish and 600 were English users. So this is a
Really nice.
valuable
Yeah.
valuable thing. You do not have to create two instances of the
Right.
same thing, right? So,
Yeah.
and that's the same thing with a menu, basically. Uh, Last thing before I let you go, in this lib
Hmm.
we have a card generator spec, uh, which is
Oh,
nice.
you were making PDFs of them.
Yep, yep. And so they
That's so
are
cool.
uploaded to Amazon Web Services, to S3 buckets.
Yeah.
They can be automatically
Damn.
sent, emailed out to the purchaser if he wants them, or
Hmm.
it can be um, printed by the restaurant if they have like a card printer, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and I was also thinking about, it is totally doable, um, to include them in iOS wallet. You understand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I would do it.
yeah, that's ideally the best thing, because then you kind of minimize the entire thing. But you can
Yeah.
still use the PDF for the wallet, because then in the wallet you want to display something, and
Yeah.
you can use PDFs for that. And again, in this one, and I'm using a PDF inspector uh, to analyze the
Mm.
files. So a PDF inspector is an addition. It's a small little library that allows RSpec to inspect a PDF, and you can get quite a lot of info. But what I'm using it for is just the strings that the PDF
Yeah.
includes, right? So I'm not looking for design elements or pages and stuff like. But you can actually uh, get that.
Visual regression testing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's fantastic.
yeah, I really like testing, so that's why I kind
Yeah.
of.
That's really cool.
But the generator is here, and I know this is very experimental. But this is the code that generates the card. Uh, so we're using a thing called, or a gem called prawn. to generate
Mm-hmm.
those things. So let me just see. So called PDF. Let's put a binding price somewhere. Um, uh, inspect what model serializers. Right. So let's just put. I had a binding price somewhere. Here it is. Using design 2. So I can just activate this one, and I can run this 42. Right, let's try that. So clear, oh, quit and clear this, and we do spec lib card, and then we say, what was it, 42, right?
Yep.
42, and that should kick in because we have a context. But isn't this, yeah, that's the let thing. File. Right, let's try that. No, why? Oh, because it's not being invoked. Okay, so I need to do a bang here. Let's try that again.
Mm-hmm.
Right, there we go. Right, and so let's see, what is file now? File is this, and then we have file. Do we have a path on the file? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pranzo API public is in public called PDF. So now we can just write. So let's open up a new tab. Pranzo API public. Yeah, right. So cd public, and then open this, and here we are. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So let's have a look at this. So this is the one we generated
Yeah.
now. But let's remove them. Let's actually get rid of them. Can we get rid of them? Yeah, we should be able to do it. Yeah. And quit this. And we run this again.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go over here, and there we have the card.
Hey, so cool.
And let's have a look at as gallery. Can we do that? Yeah, there we go. Right.
Hey, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Ah,
And you see this in
wow.
Swedish because that's what we are actually
Yeah,
testing for,
testing.
right?
Yeah.
And it should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, VAD 10, 10. Yeah, so that's totally okay. So let's see what happens. Are we removing them? I think we are removing them. So let's get this off to this, and let's
Put out of
open
that.
this up like this. Let's quit this. Oh shit. There we go. Right. And we got an error, but I don't know why, because it doesn't really matter. Let's run the whole enchilada and see if they are being created on the fly. Right. Oh, they are being changed, you see? So we have different designs and different, so we're checking if they are in Swedish crowns or in and so on and so forth. Do you understand? So
Very
that's
cool.
yeah.
All right, I got to wrap up.
Me too.
Good.
But that's the Pranzo project. Let's think about it. See if there's. I mean, we need some. It is open source, so we can discuss this at some point if this is worth pursuing somehow or not. So that was a little bit of Rails. It was a little bit of Vue. Guys, thank you very much for watching. We will be back. Hopefully tomorrow.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, guys.